All right, everybody, welcome to a special Memorial Weekend edition of the Neutral Zone. I'm pleased here to be joining you today with my co-host, Stomps, where we're going to be talking about a lot of important things, as well as some exciting things, some great turn of events, and some current events. So, happy Memorial Day weekend. Let's get started, Stomps.
Yeah, Memorial Day is not a holiday that you wish people a happy Memorial Day because it's more of a somber holiday. But I see you're wearing your camouflage, which is very appropriate.
Yeah, well, I believe you should try to be happy as often as possible.
Here we go.
But thank you for carving out some time in your day for us. To the millions and millions of viewers, you're all going to be very thrilled to what we're going to talk about. So we're going to cover, like I said earlier, a couple of current events, some news in the hockey community. We might talk a little bit about the NHL, and then we want to special celebrate some special life events. And then I think it's most important to talk about some of the latest developments and recognition of some championships, as well as the most recent trip that a subset of guys over 50 made over to Buffalo to represent Chicago. So let's start with something near and dear to everybody's heart. And it's something that a lot of people have been concerned about, and it's the area of artificial intelligence. So, one of the things that people seem to be worried about is using like all this artificial intelligence to come up with quick answers that might not require the most amount of thinking. Our good friend and our mentor to many, including myself, Elon Musk, actually claims that artificial intelligence will be replacing all human jobs, which lead to universal high income. So I kind of would like you all to sort of take a look at what that means and what your thoughts are, and maybe rethink kind of what you're doing for a living. If it's something where artificial intelligence can replace you, then you might want to reconsider, and maybe all of us might want to become barbers.
Harbors.
I can't
Hey,
imagine.
if AI can do every job, then it could do a barber job. Why can't
You
you
think
have a
so?
robot cut someone's hair?
Maybe, maybe, but I always was told that our barbers are one of the hardest professions to replace. I don't know. Do you have any personal experience recently with barbers?
No, I am my own barber.
Okay, okay. Well, let's see how that turns out. Hey, just on a little bit of a somber note, just to sort of wish Stan well. Stomps, I think you attended his father's wake recently, right? I think Stan's father passed away.
Correct. Yes. It's probably been about 10 days now, something like that.
Okay, okay. Well, we wish you well during this time, Stan. Secondarily, in the world of Stan, he's recovering from an injury similar to the one I think Dante had. What are those two injuries, Stobbs?
Well, they both had the hip resurfacing surgery done 2 days apart. So I don't think they got like a 2-for-1 deal or anything like that. Dante went to South Carolina for his, and Stash did his up here, and
Okay.
both are moving along,
Yeah,
having good recoveries.
good to hear it. I'm sure Bobby D, who recently, I think last Tuesday, celebrated his birthday, right?
Correct.
Happy birthday, Bobby D.
Yeah, most definitely the fearless leader of the Bearcats. We didn't have a chance to celebrate, but next time we're together, hopefully this Tuesday at Glencoe.
I'm sure that coachable team Bearcats is going to be very excited about the return of Dante and Stan to bring them back to those glorious winning ways that they once successfully enjoyed.
Yes, sir. I would like to be a part of that for sure.
Okay, Stomps, tell me a little bit. I gotta ask you a question before we get into some of the newest things. What is your favorite thing about being Italian?
First of all, I'm an American. Let's clear that up with roots in Italy.
So you would consider yourself
Uh,
American Italian?
wow, I mean they officially call you Italian American, but whatever. I don't quibble over those details. Why are you asking me this question? You can't choose that. That
Okay,
it is what I
the
am, and
reason I'm asking you is because one of the greatest things I find about the Italian culture is this thing called San Pellegrino. And it's been resurfacing in one of the locker rooms as of late, and even on the benches. Did you feel any like pride when you saw the San Pellegrino being chugged by the likes of Merrick?
I thought it was very interesting. Most people bring a typical water bottle to the bench and perhaps a Gatorade bottle, something of that nature. But uh, Merrick has San Pellegrino, and he's a big fan, and he bought cases of it last week, and we should get them to sponsor because great product placement. Yeah, so it's kind of interesting that that's what he likes.
And he claims the excellent mineral content in there allows him to maintain the level of play that he has because of the nutritional value in the drink as well as the digestive properties that the drink allows. So good for you, Merrick. I'm going to push a little hard on your statement you made earlier about being an American. I do want to say you are a great American. There's certainly no question in that. However, as part of my congratulations to you on the purchase of your new car, which I think is long overdue, it is something that we've all been excited about having. So finally, your Bluetooth is going to be clear. So first, let's start off with the good news. Congratulations on that new purchase you recently made. It's a beautiful car. If I had time, I would show the millions and millions of viewers the picture of your car. But you chose a non-American manufacturer for the car. Tell us about your thinking there, because everything you do is American.
Oh no, I mean, there's a lot of quality cars out there. My wife owns a Subaru, so I went with a Subaru. And don't read anything into that. It's just we, the cars are reliable, they're safe. I don't like to do. I really don't like to go car shopping or any kind of shopping at all. I wanted to get it over quickly. It was 6 hours at the dealership. So,
Wow.
but
You would have been able to do it in 5 minutes if you just purchased a Tesla online.
wow. Well, but it was a long. Yeah, you were right. It was long overdue. Anybody who's seen my other car, but I'm gifting that to my son, so he's in need of a vehicle, so he could take over the Stomps mobile. And yeah, new era.
Well, congratulations. We look forward to seeing your wonderful mode of transportation at the next Salt Creek game. Okay, good stuff. I wanted to. We're going to go a little bit backwards today. We want to get through some injuries. Stomps, can you highlight a couple of key injuries right now that are going on with some great players in our leagues?
Well, you already mentioned Stash and Dante with their hip recoveries. Probably the most major injury that's happened recently happened in Buffalo at the 50 and over when Ryan Canoy, aka Pinky, recipient of a questionable hit, from everyone I've talked to, and fractured his, or injured his clavicle, his shoulder. No, not his clavicle, his shoulder. And I've heard an 8 to 12 week recovery period. So yeah, we wish him well. My understanding is something similar happened to him at another tournament in the past in Pittsburgh, which I didn't remember that, but yeah, so yeah, it's really unfortunate, especially at a 50 and over tournament. You would think guys that are getting up there in age would we're working, we all have families, this, that, and the other. And I'm not discounting younger players or younger tournaments, but I'm just saying you'd think there'd be a little more respect out there. But I didn't see it, so but everybody has said it was a very questionable. Should have been a 5 minute penalty at least, and it wasn't. It was, I think, a 2 minute. Yeah, so
Okay, well,
unfortunate.
we wish him good health. Before we get to I do want to go back to the the Buffalo over 50 tournament. Any other injuries you'd like to cite? Any news on Danielle and her return?
Oh, I talked to her not too long ago, and I think she was still 3 months away, doing well, rehabbing, of course. So we look forward to her return to the rinks. Um, yeah, she's been missed for sure. I can't think of anybody else. So, um, but those are the major injuries that I'm aware of.
Right. Okay. And with regards, not necessarily to an injury, but we always wish our good friend Santa Fleet speedy
Yeah.
restoration of health.
Yes.
He's one of the good guys. So Fleet, just a special shout out to you from Stomps and I, the neutral zone, and the entire hockey community. We're behind you, brother.
And I think everybody would agree with that. Fleet's one of a kind. He's a great guy, and we're all pulling for him, and I'm sure he's going to do well.
Absolutely, absolutely. Stomps, what happened this morning at Woodridge?
Nothing. Eric made the right call, and he made it pretty early. When I woke up and saw the radar, I said, "There's no hockey today," and that was the right call. So
Right. I would agree. I'd also agree with some of his sentiments about keeping only one game on the Sundays. I know there's been a couple of pockets of people asking for two games, but I think he's made the right call by sticking to one. Do you see that changing in the foreseeable future?
I don't know. It's hard to say. The last time we were doing two games, which was in 2023, the main reason we were doing two games is because the sniper guys were primarily making up the players in the second game, and they were doing that as they were tuning up for tournament play and so forth. That has not returned. There's still some sniper guys that play, of course, but not in the numbers previous. So I agree. I mean, the numbers aren't there to support a second game. So
Got it. Okay. Excellent. Well, hopefully they can, like, I think Eric's running that very well. Quick, brief discussion on Glencoe, how that season's going so far.
well, it's a little bit different this year in Glencoe because they went to a D1, D3, and D5 format. Last year it was just D3 and D5. So I think maybe some of the players are spread thin a little bit. I mean, I could be wrong about that. I don't know. I know our team, the Bearcats, we've had some trouble fielding full teams, so we've had a lot of um, subs. I've subbed myself for the Knights, so but it's league is moving right along. I mean, the facility has been the construction and rehab they did last year has been completed, so everything looks nice, and we anticipate just keep going on. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. You know, Scully dropped a hint that he could run a tournament there, perhaps. Um, would love to see that. That would be fun. So let's see what happens. Um, but yeah, so far so good over there.
Good. Excellent. Excellent. Well, that's great. We're going to talk a little bit, speaking of tournaments, we'll talk a little bit about tournaments coming up at the end of the show. Stomps, I want to congratulate yourself as well as myself and all the members of GC for the most recent championship won on Monday, led by Dan Bruner as the general manager and coach of that team. Wanted to sort of talk to you a little bit about how that transpired. I know there was quarters, semis, and finals. Could you just kind of walk us through that? Let us know some of the highlights, lowlights, and how the team's feeling outside of being amazing.
Well, I mean, I truly believe the Monday League is pretty solid. I mean, I think all of the teams, for the most part, make a really good accounting for themselves. So all the games were really, I mean, the games we played in, there certainly wasn't anything one-sided, in my opinion. They were all tough games, close games. And that's what we want to have a competitive league. Now, I don't know what's going to happen in this next session because you know how it is in the summer, right? Sometimes it's very difficult. Certain guys won't play or can't play or whatever's going on in the summer months. So, but we don't take breaks, right? We just play year round, and we'll see what happens. I heard one of the teams might be a little bit short. I know the blue team, I think, is out at least for the summer. So there will be an odd number of teams, meaning there will be bye weeks, which is fine. I mean, that's not a big deal. Um, so I anticipate,
Yeah.
things to keep going. But yeah, I mean, the GC, I mean, it's a fun team to play with. Great guys. Bruner's done a great job leading the squad. Um, giving everybody a fair shake, I think.
I,
And yeah, so it's been fun. You mentioned Merrick. I mean, I would love to find out. What I don't know is like where was he found? I mean, who somebody had to have like known him and brought him in. I don't know if, I have no idea. So that's kind of a mystery to me, is his background and kind of how he's come to be and with the gentleman's club. But he's been a great addition, works hard. Yeah, so
I think he has been one of the greatest additions to this community in for as long as I can remember. I don't remember a guy coming into this league and just being completely loved by his teammates the way he is. I mean, talk about just a special guy. Now I'm going to lay it on a little thick here, but there was times where in that first semifinal, we had two games on Monday. He didn't look like he could go in the semifinals. He looked like he was done. I think you were on his line, right? And he was saying that he was going to miss some shifts.
I'm not even sure he knew there was going to be a second game. That may have been why he was headed off the floor. I don't know. I don't know that for sure, but yeah, his ankle was bothering him, and one other, part of him. So yeah, so he was a little banged up, but he soldiered through and helped us win. So
I mean,
hats off to him.
miraculous healing powers.
What about what Frank had to say to you? That was
Oh,
one of that's like a championship moment.
I loved it. I actually looked at him and I smiled. We cannot repeat what Frank said to me on uh, on the air, but it was me just trying to be a team guy and encouraging line one to go on. And then he had some choice words that were, I like to take them as motivational and his true belief in our line. but it was great. It was great because I think our line went on to just be so strong, and we had a hand in a big goal, our line as well in that final. So Frank, thanks for the motivation and the inspiration. You're such a sweet guy, always looking out for people and their feelings. Such a caring gentleman. Okay, speaking of guys on the team, I just going back to your comment about Dan Bruner and his leadership. I mean, this guy, I mean, we were trying to calculate it a little while ago. It'd be great to have him on the show. I think he, as a GC commander in chief, I think he might have 4 championships, might be 3, at a minimum 3, but he's really led this team to some great success. And not only does he succeed as a manager, but you see that semifinal game where he scored those 2 goals back to back in, I think it was within a minute to 2 minutes, right?
Did you say in the semifinal game?
Yeah, that was in the semifinals. One of them was like a shot from the point. Yeah, I don't remember
Dan Reed?
Dan Bruner.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I remember the Dan Reed bombs. You know, he scored a couple of goals and one in the semi, one in the final. And I got to mention Shelley having the game-winning, championship-winning shot from the point. Something we've seen from him for many, many years. So that was great. And you got to, I mean, you can mention everybody. I mean, it was certainly a team effort, but you know, Billy was a rock back there on goaltending, I should say, and just did a tremendous job to get us over the hump. That's for sure.
Well, lots of guys like Dan mentioned, not lots, but a couple of guys are playing out of his their position. Dan Reed being one of them. I thought he played good in the back, protecting that back end. I thought Billy Jacques, without Billy Jacques again, our team is down a couple of notches. He's bailed us out of a lot of games. Just one of the greatest goalies. I mean, he just true Vezina form. What do you say?
Yeah, I agree. Great job by all, though. It's always fun to win it. I don't take it for granted at all because it's not easy, and who knows how many more I'll be a part of. But so everyone is special. It's fun.
Yeah, I agree. Everybody's out there to compete and work hard. And, it's good to see some of the older guys continue to win championships. As you know, these championships are hard to get, but, lots of the older guys, they come out here and just kudos to them for trying as best as they can. A lot of them are fighting some injuries that we can't see. They don't always talk about it, but kudos to them. Kudos to all you guys. Kudos to you, Stomps. You've done really well with the weight loss. I can see it out there on the floor. You're moving better. So congratulations to you in total. Would you be comfortable sharing with the community how much weight you've lost?
I can't because I don't know. Um, I'm a strange bird that way. I don't like to, because I don't have an actual goal in mind. But like some people like to weigh themselves every day, and then you get caught up with, I'm up 4 ounces today over yesterday, and then it messes with your mind. I just would rather keep my head down, keep doing what I'm doing, and we'll see where I end up.
Well,
That's
I
how I
mean,
look at it.
yeah, I know. I think that's the way to go, right? I think sometimes um, I think sometimes calculating the weight loss can be discouraging as well, right?
Well, that's what I mean. Depending on what happens day to day, I'm just doing what I'm doing. I've made big changes, or I should say, a lot of little changes. Some of them might be considered big, but
Yeah. We'll keep it up. Hey, we are likely going to have a couple of special guests. Speaking about some of the new guys emerging in the league, we want to do like a Slovakian edition on the show. I think it would be helpful for Billy Jocks to watch that episode. We're probably going to do a little bit of geography training as well, so people can just remember that Slovakia and Sweden are two different countries. I think sometimes in America we tend to think all of Europe is one similar thing. So Billy Jacques, if you're out there, Merrick has volunteered to give us a little bit of a European geography lesson. I could benefit from it as well. So thank you for that. We're gonna have Merrick on here to talk about, how he grew up playing hockey, what this community means to him. And then one of the things I wanted to talk about was also Rob the Heartbreak Kid Michaels. I would love to have that guy on the show, a Pittsburgh native. Am I correct, Stomps?
That's right.
Yeah,
He's a native of the Berg.
yeah.
And I've been on his line quite a bit, not just on GC, but when we had that one session with the snipers, we were part of that veteran line, and Rob's heart and soul. He works hard and he wants to get out there and contribute for sure. So
He definitely does. And I see in that
yeah,
finals game, he was getting some opportunities. I also saw him take a
yeah.
hard slap shot from his, I think it was the left wing that, just missed by a little bit. So he gets his opportunities. He's definitely a fierce competitor. Let's talk a little bit about Brian Ganutek and his return. He looks pretty good out there as well.
Yeah, you know what you're going to get. Brian's a smart hockey player, been around the block like all of us, and he's a solid guy to have on your team. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Well, we covered the great championship by GC on Monday. We also know that this team will be returning, like you said. There's going to be no hockey tomorrow, which is Memorial Day. The
Right.
next hockey will restart in the local Chicago area, I think back on Tuesday with Glencoe, right? And then Wednesday league, we'll just quickly touch on that. Billy Jacques, as the commissioner there, continues to run that league with four teams. They're moving towards a really good salary cap model, and I think it's going to take some time to sort of adjust and coordinate some of that. But I'd give Billy Jacques credit for sort of maintaining that, as well as the other general managers and doing their best to try to balance out the league as best as they can. It's never easy running those things, and I just want to give some kudos out to those guys. Stomps, any other things before we kind of close out with a few quick housekeeping items here today?
Didn't you say you wanted to get back to the 50 and over tournament? I thought you had something else to
Yeah, I wanted to
mention
cover
about
the
that.
tournament. So maybe that's a good pivot. Let's talk a little bit about what you know about Buffalo, where I believe Ryan Canoe, who you earlier stated sustained that injury, brought a team there with Bobby D in between the pipes. So there was a representation of Chicago and Buffalo. Let us know how that went.
Well, I wasn't there. I'm still waiting for my invitation. And maybe when they do a 60 and over tournament, I'll be able to play. But no, I mean, I talked to a few people, and there's it's like any of these tournaments that go to the Northeast. You get some tough teams from Canada and the States and the Northeast, and teams seem to, they felt like they got better as the tournament went along. Um, they dropped the first couple of games in the round robin, then they tied the third one. And then I think they took the teams and placed them into an A and B bracket for the playoff Sunday. And then the old timers ended up losing that game. But everyone feels like they got better as the tournament went along. But I think it's the same problem we're always faced with at these tournaments is that, we're playing these teams that always play with each other. They're actual teams that play together, whereas we're a mishmash of guys across a bunch of various teams locally that come together to play in a tournament. So there may not be the continuity. And what I was told is these teams they played against play a system, which again is, we see this at tournaments all the time. where these teams have a system of forechecking and just the way they approach the game. It's just different than what we're able to do. So our guys, I should say, so that's all I really know about it. Really, I think everybody enjoyed going to Buffalo and had a good time, and that's part of what it's all about. But you want to try and win, but maybe next time, right? I hear there's going to be another 50 and over tournament hosted here. I don't know who's running it, or I've just heard dribs and drabs. So I hopefully get a shot at that. Maybe join the team and see what I can do to help.
I think that's
What about you? You would fit. You're a
well.
good, great fit.
So I will tell you that Ryan did ask me to play early on, and I couldn't make it, and then my schedule freed up. But by that point, I think he was full. If you're listening, Ryan, yeah. So hopefully Stomps and I can contribute. We'd be happy to be part of that and be part of that upcoming tournament in August as well. I think in a future episode we'll talk a little bit about Iowa because Iowa
Yeah,
tournament.
that's coming. People are trying to get the teams together, and that. So that's the dates are August 7th through the 11th.
Right.
But the Chicago area teams typically play the 9th, 10th, and 11th. But it starts as early as that Wednesday, the 7th of August, and then goes through the weekend.
Well, if you haven't done so already, you might want to start looking at accommodations because those hotels get filled up pretty fast and the rates change. I think there's one Fairfield, and I think is there a casino there as well?
There is. I know a lot of guys like to stay at the casino. I like the Fairfield.
Yeah.
I think I got it. I was able to book it last week for 137 or something a night, which is, it barely changed from last year, which I was surprised
Wow.
considering how the price of everything has, we know that everything's gone up. So,
In terms
yeah,
of sorry, go ahead, Stomps.
no, I would just recommend people, like you said, you may want to book earlier and not wait because a hotel you could always cancel, right?
Right.
So
Well, speaking of tournaments and something upcoming in the windshield, so four of our Chicago players will be attending a tournament next weekend in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada. It's going to be the Salam Cup, and I will be there representing the Masters team, Dynamo there. Gabe will be representing Dynamo as well as Solomon representing Dynamo, my son, and then Jacob will be representing Dynamo in the Junior A division. So there's four of us there. Stouts will be sending you the feed so you can keep up on what's going on over there as you always do. So that's coming up. Stomps, anything else before we close out with a couple of recommendations for the viewers?
well, there was another tournament that was going on at the same time as Buffalo, which I think there was one in Pittsburgh. Don't know a whole lot about it. I think from what I heard, our friends, the Southsiders, lost in the semifinals in overtime or something like that. I only got a little piece of that, so not much more details to report there, but that's all I have.
Yeah, I don't have much either. Apologize, guys. We don't know much about it. We can cover it in the future. Okay. Last thing is I wanted to sort of just close out with a couple of restaurant recommendations. So I know, Stomps, you've been very careful with your eating habits. However, there is a restaurant spelled D-U-A, Dua, like Dua Lipa. It is a new Italian steakhouse that's opened up in Park Ridge. Tremendous restaurant that we should check out. There's also a burger place that I've been going to called Smash It Burger, and that's in Morton Grove. The fries are incredible. The, the beef bacon, which I tend to like, is very good. I've been going there, sometimes picking up after the games. And third, they just opened up a Shake Shack in Deerfield. So that's good for those up in the north.
Well, Smash It Burger, not just Smash Burger.
Smash it.
Hmm. Is it a chain or is it a?
I think there's a couple. I think there's a couple, but I just know of that one. My son got me into that. Solomon got me into that. Um, okay, good stuff. We have a few minutes left here, but I think we can close. Again, congratulations to Gentlemen's Club for the championship. We look forward to ongoing success. We wish everybody a safe Memorial Day weekend, not a happy Memorial Day weekend, if that's okay with you, Stomps. The Great American that
Yes,
buys
that's
that buys foreign cars.
fine. Jeez. I mean, hey, my phone is I don't know, a Samsung. Isn't that a foreign? I don't even think they make a smartphone in this country, do they? I don't know.
No, but I did have a question for you
Hey,
that I forgot to ask you before we close. Where are you going to buy your car mats from? I think I can guess.
oh, I'm really bummed about that. Actually, we ended up buying them through Subaru, but they don't seem to have it be as quality as WeatherTech,
Which is
which is
American,
and it's not far from here. Their big warehouse.
right?
We thought we were getting WeatherTech, so yeah, a little misunderstanding there, but whatever. We're our family. We're big fans of WeatherTech. That's it. They make good products, that's for sure. Right here in Bolingbrook, right next
Excellent.
door.
The great town of Bolingbrook. Okay, for those of you who tuned in, you tuned in to season 4, episode 5 of the Neutral Zone, where we brought to you today a special Memorial Day weekend episode where we covered a variety of topics and we did it in very good time, under 40 minutes. Thank you, everybody, for your support. If you could please like and subscribe to our channel, this allows us to continue to bring you the greatest top quality content and entertainment value to you, which you all eagerly anticipate. And we're thankful for your support. Stomps, my co host, it's great to see you. Thanks for taking the time out. Everybody, have a safe rest of your weekend.